Anyone else's dog makes a nest for themselves in the bed. Hey, Poppy. I woke her up when I spoke. So this is my daughter's bed where I'm filming at the moment, so Poppy's decided to join me and make a little nest for herself. Sorry, you can go back to sleep now.
Hi there, today I'm going to be trying out the Thin Lizzy Flawless Complexion Liquid Foundation Kit. So I've been looking for a good foundation for me because I have trouble with foundations. They all wear off my chin and around my nose really quickly. All the rest of my face seems fine, or if they stay around here fine, they look really dry and cakey around my face. So I've been searching for a good foundation, so that's why I'm testing this one out. And this one I got in the colour Minx. And I saw Cindy Lou Bindi reviewing this, and I thought I'd give it a go because she seemed to think it was okay. She just did a first impressions on it, really. I was going to do a first impressions, but the universe decided it didn't want me to do a first impressions because I tried to film this twice already, and each time I'd got to the end of the video and went to edit it and realised my camera was on the wrong settings and my video was useless. As I've got a new camera and I'm still getting used to it, so I ended up just carry on using this foundation for the rest of the week. So this is not a first impression. It's got a bit more thought and wear time in it now. So I'm going to do an application and a wear test today to show you how this works. When I bought this in my local chemist, she said that they're not going to be selling these kits anymore, and they're going to sell all the parts individually. I'll show you what I got in there. It says new improved sponge, but I've got the black one. I don't know whether that's the new improved one or not. It's not orange like on the picture. And so this is what it looks like before it's wet. Just your normal looking one. It's very bouncy. And so you get one of these little brushes here. Now I've never used one of these types of brushes before, so this was an interesting experience for me. They're very, very soft. They feel really nice. And I haven't washed this one yet because it's very, very densely packed, and I just thought it would take a really long time to dry. So because I knew I wanted to film this, I didn't want to wash it before I got around to doing the filming. And you get the foundation, of course. So it comes with a little thing that tells you how to use it and how to use the sponge and how to use the brush and how to wash things. And the back of the box also gives you instructions. On the little pamphlet it says you'll find Thin Lizzy's Flawless Complexion Liquid Foundation gives you full flawless coverage in half the time. That means no more lines, no more wasting time endlessly blending. The secret is the cream to powder microsphere formula that clouds over flaws and minimises pores to create a velvety second skin effect. Together with our specially designed blending sponge and blurring brush, you have all the tools you need to create that seamless, natural, no makeup look and feel. And that means a more radiant and more confident you. Now, I think the important words here is it's supposed to be full coverage, but then it also says it's a natural no makeup look, so that doesn't make sense in my head, but I'll show you what it looks like. It says it's a cream to powder finish, and it's supposed to minimise it's supposed to minimise pores. So I'm going to show you my pores first. There's my pores. They're really visible. It says to wet your sponge and dab this over your face with the foundation and then go with the brush and smooth it all out. So I'm going to do that, and why I do that, I'm going to just read what it says on the packet and hear about the foundation. So here's my sponge, all nicely damp. It's very bouncy. Like I said before, when it's wet it's really bouncy. And I'm going to put some of the foundation on my hand, and I found I need about 3 to 4 pumps, so that's 4 pumps. It's quite a runny foundation. I'll read you what it says on how to apply it, because it says 2 different things on the pamphlet and the box. So on the box it says apply to clean, moisturised skin using the precise tip of the blurring sponge. Dot the foundation on your forehead, nose, cheeks and chin. Use the blurring brush. Blend the foundation using circular motions. For extra cover, use the blurring brush to dab on the areas desired. But then on the pamphlet that came inside the box, it says, specially designed fibres of the blurring brush seamlessly blur away all your imperfections, ensuring even, flawless coverage with no streaking and less absorption of makeup. Simply dot the liquid foundation all over your face using the precision tip of the blending sponge, and then take the blurring brush and gently glide it back and forth across the skin until you get coverage and flawless finish you're looking for. So on the box it says use circular motions, and in the pamphlet it says glide it back and forth. So I guess you decide which kind of application you prefer, but I wish they would make sure that their instructions are the same on both things. So it says on the back of the box, washing the brush with water and soap and cleanser will ruin the bristles. So it says the blurring brush should be cleaned every week by wiping on a microfiber cloth and spraying with alcohol or brush cleaner. But in the pamphlet he says washing the blurring brush. So we recommend washing the brush every 1 to 2 weeks. Fill a bowl with warm water and a little antibacterial soap or cleanser. Massage soap or cleanser into the brush to create a lather. Rinse brush until water runs clear and allow brush to air dry. So they've got different instructions on how to wash the brush as well. So that's again confusing. So there's one coat of the foundation. This brush is really nice and soft and certainly spreads the product out well, and it spreads it out so that there are no brush marks or anything. I don't feel like I have to go in, put my microphone on, I don't feel like I have to go in with my sponge and get rid of any marks or anything, because there's none there. So with one coat it's not full coverage. I would say it's light to medium coverage with one coat. And with one coat it's sitting nicely on my skin. It just looks like my skin, just a little bit more even. My freckles and things all still show through, but even with full coverage my freckles still show through. It's not really caking up anywhere. It's not accentuating any dry bits or anything, so it's all sitting really nicely. Now they did say when I bought this foundation that it was their #1 top selling foundation in the store. So that made me want to try it, because if lots of people are going to buy it then there must be something good about it, I figured. So I'm going to put a little bit more on and see what happens when I put just another coat on where I need it. And it says to use the sponge when you layer more on, so I'm going to do that. So I'm going to put some more on my chin, around my nose, and typically my foundation disappears on my chin and around my nose first. So I have found other times when I go in with the sponge for a second coat, when I use the clean part of the sponge on my face, it just takes everything away. So I'm dotted it on with the sponge, and then I'm going back with the brush to see if that helps keep it in place, which it seems to be. I do find it says you don't have to use as much product with this brush as other brushes. I don't really use a brush that often because I find most brushes that I use leave brush marks. This one doesn't leave brush marks, so I'll probably use this brush a lot more. I have to try it out with some different foundations. So that's looking more full coverage around where I've put it as an extra lot. So you can, it is buildable. But when I've built it up in the past, you have to, I found I had to be careful of any dry spots up here, and then it starts looking a little bit cakey. But with one coat it doesn't look cakey at all. And it does start looking a bit cakey around the nose, and it starts creasing in here when I build it up. So you do have to watch it a bit. I don't think it makes my pores look smaller though. It does say it's supposed to minimise pores, but I don't think they look any smaller. What do you think? They don't look any smaller to me. But it's a nice finish. It's got a nice finish to it. I didn't really spread it down my neck very well. So it's been on for a minute or so. It still feels a little bit tacky to me. It doesn't feel like a powder finish because it's supposed to dry down. What did they say again? Yeah. It says cream to powder formulation. So to create a velvety second skin effect. So it feels moist still. It's not really dry. So, and it's a little bit glowy. Which I don't mind the glowy, that's fine. I think if you had really oily skin, I don't think you would like this. If you have dry skin, it might suit you really well. But I feel like I still need to powder it to really set it down properly. So I'm going to put a bit of concealer on now. Oops, sorry, banging my mirror. So I'm going to put a bit of concealer on, and while I'm waiting for that to kind of dry down, still feels a little bit tacky. I'm just using my Maybelline Fit Me Concealer. This one here in Fair. I do really like this little brush. It definitely smooths all the foundation and things out so that there's no lines or anything. And even just blending the edges of that concealer in with the brush makes it nice and smooth as well. So I do like that brush, and if it hadn't have come in the kit, I probably never would have even bothered trying this brush. So I'm quite pleased to have tried it. I've got allergy issues today, so around my eyes it's a bit dry, so I'm not going to powder around my eyes today. I didn't put any primer on either because I want you to see how it wears without primer to help it. I have used some primers over the week, which I'll tell you about at the end when I've finished applying stuff. So I'm going to powder my face, and I'm just going to use my Maybelline Master Fix. I've used a couple of different powders, and some of them go a bit cakey with this foundation. And so I think for me, for my skin, I need a really lightweight powder, so that's why I'm using this one. And I'm not baking or anything because I don't bake, because it's way too drying and just shows up all my wrinkles, so that's not something I do. Okay, and I use this powder quite a lot, so I know how it usually performs. So once I've set it down with the powder, it's not sticky or anything at all. But before that, it did have a slight tacky feel. To me, it didn't dry down to a powder finish, I don't think. But once you set it down, it feels fine. It's not sticky or tacky or anything, because I don't like my foundations to feel at all gritty or anything. Gritty, all tacky or slippery or anything. I like them to be nice and powdered down, so that if you do touch your face, it still feels like your skin, and this feels like my skin now. It doesn't feel like I've got anything on it. It's a very lightweight feeling, not full coverage with 2 coats, and I would never do more than 2 coats anyway. I'm going to apply the rest of my makeup and show you what it looks like, and then we'll do a wear test through the day. Okay, so I finished my makeup, and here's what my foundation is looking like so far. It's settled in. So as I was putting the rest of my makeup on, it was looking a little bit dry and flaky here, but that seems to have gone away now. It's a little bit flaky and dry looking just in here and on my nose, but it's improving, and it's settling a little bit just in this crease here, which I don't usually get. So I'll check in later and show you how it goes. So it's been about 5 hours since I put my foundation on, and I thought I'd come on now because I don't think I need to do a wear test any longer than this. So if you have a look, you can see that it's all worn off my chin. It's a tiny little bit here. It's worn off all around here. There's none left. Most of it's worn off along here. There's a tiny bit here. Still seems to be everywhere else, but it doesn't wear any better than the Maybelline Superstay on me, or the Maybelline Fit Me on me, or any of the other ones I've tried on me. So it has a really nice finish to it. It's nice and natural, but it doesn't last any longer than any of the other ones. I think if I want a nice natural glowy look, then this would be a good one, because it does have a nice natural finish. It's not full coverage, so I don't know why they say it's full coverage, because even building it up, it's not full coverage. It's a natural finish. It's a no makeup look, which is what they also say. So definitely that. If they hadn't have said full coverage on the pamphlet, I would have no issue with it, because it is a nice natural one, and it wears nicely, so it hasn't gone all cakey and weird and breaking up. It just kind of disappears like a lot of my other foundations. Some foundations, when they start disappearing, they look cakey and ugly. But this one just kind of melts away and you don't really notice it. So it still looks nice on the skin, even though half of it's gone. But that's normal for me. And I forgot to say after I'd applied it all, I'd set it with a setting spray, and I used my Wet n Wild natural setting spray, which I have found works the best so far of the setting sprays that I use. So yeah, so all in all, it's a nice foundation. It's not super long wearing on me, and it's a nice natural finish. It is not full coverage. So if you want a nice natural finish, then, and if you don't have the same kind of problem as I do with it disappearing around this part of your face, then you might really like this. If you've got dry skin, you also might like this, because my dry areas up here and on my nose and that, it all sits quite nicely on those areas. So that's always important to me. I'd rather that it wore off here than cling to dry areas and accentuate them, and it certainly does not do that, so that's good. So that's all I have to say about that foundation, and thanks for watching everyone, and I'll see you next time. Bye.